These people shared way too much online.
Police are doing nothing! I lost my job!
Like things they probably should have kept to themselves.
This RL streamer crashed his car into a store while live streaming it.
And in this video we're gonna go through some of the worst ones.
One beautiful Lambo, care of our tax dollars. Here's the story. The Louisiana woman has been arrested for Medicaid fraud, all while driving this beautiful Lamborghini. According to Attorney General Liz Burrell, Candace Taylor, age 35, seen behind me, of committing Medicaid recipient fraud. How? Because she underreported her income to qualify for Medicaid benefits, all while showcasing her beautiful luxury lifestyle online. She has been reported to deposit over $480,000, paid $45,000 for Audi finances, wired $100,000 to an exotic car dealership, spent $13,000 on a 2022 Lamborghini Yaris, made large withdrawals for property, plastic surgery, jewelry, and other luxury service. The Louisiana Department of Health filed a complaint triggering her arrest. She is not the first nor the last.
I don't even know what to say here. The urge to show off a rich, successful lifestyle turned out to be stronger than common sense. Even the risk of getting arrested, which is exactly what happened, didn't stop her from bragging and basically posting evidence against herself online. People today are so obsessed with creating this image of success that they have forgotten what it actually feels like to be genuinely happy. Let's be honest, owning a Lamborghini, yeah, it's cool. It's a sign of success. Not everyone can afford it, but you get used to that level of money and lifestyle really fast. It just becomes normal. And a lot of these people don't even enjoy the purchase of the thing itself as much as they enjoy showing it off. In their heads, others are supposed to look at it and feel jealous. At some point, humanity definitely took a wrong turn.
This RL streamer crashed his car into a store while live streaming it. He did this because he just wanted to see what would happen.
What you're watching right now is basically natural selection in action. And yeah, you could say this person isn't exactly the smartest one if he decided to test something in real life that was first of all obvious, and second, something he could have just looked up on YouTube. At this point, you just hope tomorrow he doesn't decide to test what happens if you jump off a roof. It's pretty obvious everything he did was for attention, for hype, likes, views, maybe even to end up in the news. If this was intentional, then I really hope he faces consequences in court, because he's not just putting his own life at risk, he's putting other people in danger too.
This TikTok DoorDash driver just went from viral victim to felony defendant after she came online saying that she was essayed on the job.
Police are doing nothing! I lost my job! That was my only way to make money to pay my bills!
And she went viral pretty fast as a DoorDash driver who claimed that she was essayed on the job.
I was a victim of SA by a DoorDash customer while I was doing my job as a DoorDash driver. The DoorDash customer requested that their order be left at their front door. Their front door was wide open, their lights were on, they were sleeping on the couch within eyesight of the front door with their pants and underwear pulled down to their ankles, and they were indecently exposed to me.
Well, as it turns out, other creators started putting out screenshots that showed that she had quietly deleted an earlier version of that video, one that showed her nudging the door open before handing to the sleeping guy on the couch. As of last week, she's been arrested, charged with 2 felonies, and could be facing years in prison.
I'm the victim.
Yeesh.
I don't even know what's more disturbing here, the complete lack of critical thinking from this person, or the fact that for a lot of people it's already a reflex. The moment anything happens, they instantly switch into record and post it online mode, and not even trying to understand what's actually going on. Yeah, I get it, the situation is weird. Open door, a guy sleeping naked, okay. But it's his house, he's not in a public place. And instead of just leaving the order and moving on, she decides to film it, post it, and on top of that accuse him of essay. And what makes it even crazier is that even after reality clearly hit her and hinted that maybe she should stop, she goes and posts another video complaining about getting fired, while still acting like she's the victim in all of this.
So I've been trying to figure out what's been going on for a while now with our disgustingly obvious decline in intelligence just as a society. Like, we all know we're getting dumber, right? Like, you feel it, I feel it, we all feel it. And then I read these letters written by 17-year-olds in like the Civil War era. The way that 17-year-olds used to speak versus the way that they do now will make you emotional, because it's so sad. It's so sad. Our vocabularies are so underdeveloped. Like, we've lost the ability to articulate ourselves, but furthermore, just living an intellectually curious life.
Oh yeah, here we go again. Modern generation is dumb, total degradation, iPad kids can't read. Back in the day people were intellectual giants, and now it's the end of civilization. It honestly sounds like some kind of mantra people just repeat without thinking. I'm not gonna lie, I'm already tired of hearing it. As humans, we're just adapting to the environment we live in. The fact that we don't know how to hunt mammoths anymore doesn't mean we are somehow worse or dumber than people in the past. I'm actually amused by all these everything used to be better takes. Yeah, sure, kids 100 years ago probably spoke better and read more, but that's because they didn't have internet and video games. Now we have a completely different set of skills that help us survive in the modern world, not the world from 50 or 100 years ago. For example, today it's valuable to be able to process huge amounts of information, switch focus quickly, and navigate through all this chaos. If you dropped someone from 100 years ago into the amount of information we deal with daily, they would probably lose their mind. Their brains just weren't adapted for that. And honestly, it's kind of ironic because the fact that she can't even look at the situation a couple of steps deeper is exactly what people point to when they say we've gotten dumber. Like, yeah, maybe we are a bit of a brain rot generation, but that doesn't mean civilization is about to end.
So I'm the LPN who got fired for creating my content at work. Now I know I have a lot of comments on my videos, and apparently I'm the only nurse in the world that creates content, or the only medical professional that people see. It was destined to happen. Now, one thing about me is that I'm lighthearted and I laugh a lot. I like to make other people laugh. Besides, the Bible says laughter doeth good as medicine, right? And I've had a lot of people comment on my videos, which is good because you guys know what traction brings. But I'm going to tell you two things that I'm not: dumb and delusional. I'm a very well-educated black woman with 2 degrees. I can go anywhere today, tomorrow, yesterday, any time of day and get a job if I wanted to. And when and if I'm ready to go back to work, you guys will know.
I don't know when having 2 degrees suddenly became an automatic sign of intelligence or just basic common sense, because clearly those are not the same thing. If she actually had some sense, she could have just gone to her management and asked a simple question before filming anything at work. Like, are you even allowed to do that? And the second thing, it really doesn't take much intelligence to understand that when you are at work, you're supposed to work, not handle your personal stuff, especially if it interferes with what you are actually being paid for. If she was making content in her free time, I doubt anyone would care, but doing it during working hours, the time she's literally being paid for, that's an obvious conflict of interest. So her confidence about "I'll easily find another job" sounds pretty questionable to me, because from the outside it doesn't even look like she understands how things actually work in real life.
I'm not gonna lie, one of the biggest problems in 2025 is people oversharing on social media. There should be no reason why when I open this app, the first video I see is your parents' last moment alive. Like, I'm literally hearing the death rattle of someone's parent sitting in the hospital taking their last breaths. And you chose to post that on TikTok. I know if your parent was alive to see that or got a chance to see that after the fact, they would curse you out. Same thing with people taking their pets to the vet to put them down and then setting up the camera and ugly crying on their dog's dead body. Like, there's something wrong with y'all.
Honestly, I barely use TikTok, so the fact that this kind of content even exists there was actually surprising to me. I mean, I get it, the internet isn't exactly the healthiest place, but it's still kind of shocking how far things can go. But if you really think about it, it's completely predictable. We basically gave everyone access to the internet with 0 filters, and on top of that, built algorithms that reward any content as long as it gets a reaction. So of course, at some point, people started getting attention even from the most extreme situations, because when someone has nothing in their life they can genuinely share, no skills, nothing interesting going on, they start pulling content out of literally anything. And situations like this, where someone turns even the death of a loved one into content, are just a natural result of that system. The most messed up part is that for them it doesn't even feel wrong. It's just another way to share, to express pain, I don't know, to get sympathy from complete strangers who don't actually care about them. And honestly, understanding all of this doesn't make it any easier. It actually makes it worse, because it just means that this is only going to get more extreme over time, not less.
I'm chronically online in a different and more sophisticated way than everyone. People say you're just doom scrolling, you're scrolling for hours, wasting your time. It's research. I'm studying. I'm gaining information. I know a little bit about everything. You talk about some random person, I know them. And if I don't, I'll be able to figure it out. I'll look it up. I'll find a random tweet they made. I'll find a random video they made. And I'll know everything about them. I've seen every YouTube video. I've read every tweet. I've seen every Instagram post. and I've seen every TikTok.
We've already voluntarily given away a huge amount of our personal information online. And the most ironic part is that people still think their data is somehow hidden away inside corporations, like it's all secretly collected and stored on some servers, when in reality half of that information is sitting right there in their own public profiles. And you don't need to be some movie-level hacker to figure things out about someone. With a bit of effort, you can piece together a pretty detailed picture. There used to be at least some kind of boundary between online and real life. Now it's basically gone. Someone you argue with online could in theory find out way more about you than you would expect, and one day even show up at your door. So yeah, I think we have already crossed that line where anonymity for most people is more an illusion than something real. What you're watching here is honestly insane. A newborn baby is having serious health problems, and the best thing the mother comes up with is to film a TikTok dance. She's smiling doing these goofy moves, while at the same time there's a baby literally fighting for his life. I genuinely don't understand what has to be going in someone's head to think that in a moment like this, the right move is to start filming a dance content. It really feels like people have lost some basic sense of what's appropriate. Not everything in life should be turned into content. Not every situation needs to be shared, monetized, and shown to the whole world. And I honestly wonder what this child will think one day when he grows up and sees this video. Because if I were in that position, I'd probably be pretty upset.
I truly cannot believe that this is a controversial take. But in 2025, do any of us seriously believe that moms that post their kids, especially their little girls, in swimsuits, that have hundreds of saves, do we really believe that they don't understand what's happening, that they don't understand who's saving those videos, that if they look at their followers, they don't see who's following them? Do we really believe they care about their child's safety when they're deleting and blocking people that are saying, hey, this is probably not a safe thing to post? It's evil and it's vile and it's wanting money and likes and attention over child safety.
Personally, I think it's not even a question of whether they understand it or not. Of course they do. It's just more convenient for them to play naive. Like, oh, it's just photos, what's the big deal? We have a nice audience. Even though everyone understands that the internet isn't some small friendly circle, it's a place where literally anyone can be. And at some point, people make a decision that likes, attention, and sometimes money are worth giving up their child's privacy completely, even before the child is old enough to have any say in it. So the kid hasn't even grown up yet, hasn't reached any kind of conscious age, and their whole life is already online, and there's no going back from that. The worst part is how this gets presented as something normal and even cute, but if you look at it more honestly, it often just looks like using a child for content. Of course, you have to look at each case individually, and some people really do just post photos of their kids as memories or to share with family, and there are others who intentionally build content around it and even monetize it.
Keep in mind that social media has never been worse. All the platforms, including this one, are downranking reliable news sources, making it harder to get accurate, verified information. This isn't just happening to the people that you hate and are on the wrong side of history and are clearly misinformed. This is happening to you too. You haven't magically cracked the code of the internet so that you're funneled all the true info and correct takes. Look, there's a solid chance you've believed or shared misinformation, and it doesn't mean you're a bad person. Social media is like a cocktail of useful facts and downright lies. It's a garbage dump and a treasure trove all in one.
Yeah, the real problem here isn't even that we willingly give away a ton of our personal information online and then act surprised when someone uses it. The bigger issue is that at the same time we constantly consume other people's information and spread it further without even questioning where it came from, how true is it, or who is actually behind it. For some reason, people automatically assume that if something shows up in their feed, especially if it looks convincing or hits emotionally, that it must be true. But in reality, it could be anything. Manipulation, propaganda, something taken out of context, or even a paid story that just packaged really well. Any reasonable person understands that there is no such thing as pure information on the internet. Behind every media, blog, post, there's always a real person or group of people with their own interests and goals. And even if it's not a manipulation, it's still an interpretation and not an objective reality.